Okay, so this is my shout out video. If I messed up on your name, I'm very sorry. But anyway, let's go. Shout out to my best friend Sean Badoff Taylor. I love you. Shout out to Henzy I Ain't Cuffin Dupree. Shout out to Maya Simple Me Sky. Shout out to Keita Some Serious. Shout out to my bitch Brianna White. I love you. Shout out to Chris Jackson, Tile Silver. Shout out to QYNIC Johnson. Shout out to Cody the Slapper Lewis. Shout out to Quan Stars. Thanks for the love you been giving. Shout out to Twan Free Nitty Johnson. Shout out to Quincy Williams. Shout out to Nick I Got You Asia. I love you, chick. Text me. Shout out to Obey Rosie. Shout out to Jessica Boo Morris. Shout out to Sandra Triple Threat Cook, my future girlfriend. Shout out to Kiara J. Shout out to Patrick Carter. Shout out to my bitch Evelyn Davis. I love you and miss you. Shout out to Kiara Simmons. Shout out to Dietrich Playmaker White, Lulu. Love you, little sister. Shout out to my girlfriend April Latrice Jordan. Text me. Shout out to Tamira Willis. Shout out to the Brandon Bass. Shout out to Drama Trapping Russell. Shout out to Francesca Lounge. Shout out to Lakeith Deuce Idaho. Shout out to 100 Boy Jarvis. Shout out to my brother from another mother, Louise Kelly. Love you. Shout out to Nikki LaShawn Minaj. Shout out to Jaquarius Williams. Shout out to Naquarius Hewitt. Shout out to Barbie Taylor Hunter. Shout out to Kiara Youngin. Shout out to Jessica Ann Williams. I see you in love, girl. Shout out to Maya Love and Haters Johnson. Shout out to Cute Gangster Bitch Gray, my cousin. Love you. Shout out to Fatima Bay. I guess that's how you say your name, but shout out to you. Shout out to LaShawn Lawwood. Shout out to Desiree Jackson. Shout out to Lee King. Shout out to Ellen Newton, Stranger, funny acting. Shout out to Jalen Keishani Shisley. I guess that's how you say your name. If not, I'm sorry. Shout out to you. Shout out to Arthur Houston. Remember, I'm going to leave with you. Shout out to TJ Single. Shout out to my short black stuff, Alice Carter. Love you, chick. Shout out to Roger Young and Sherman. Shout out to my ex from Barrister, Kentavious Battle. Shout out to Josh Jet Life Right. Shout out to my bad bitch Ivory by myself Hollins. Love you. Shout out to Khadijah Ward. I don't fuck around. Shout out to my cousin Stenlo, local superstar. Shout out to AJ Bunhana. I guess that's how you say your name. But shout out to you. Shout out to Portia Shaw in my muffin. Love you guys. Shout out to my California bestie Shay Marie. Love you. Shout out to my wife Quisha, Miss Labusa Hatch. Shout out to my little cousin Peggy Ayo Love Lawrence. Love you. Shout out to Greg Badass Big Dukin. Shout out to Joanna Loving Him Booker. Shout out to Diesel YIC Carol. Shout out to Boss Badass. Shout out to my bitch Larisha Davis / Ralph. Love you, chick. Shout out to Shabby Ritz. Oh, that's my baby right there. Shout out to Brent Read This and Remember It Bear. And shout out to my big booty Judy, Daniel Collins. Love you guys.